You're tuned in to This is Futbol. I'm Danny, and with me is my brother in the game, Nico Bravo. And together we're bringing you the stories, the hot takes, and the passion that makes football more than just a sport. From Miami to the world, if it happens on the pitch, we're talking about it. This is Futbol. Nico, how are you doing?
What's up, Danny? How's everything? I'm glad to be here with you today. Excited, man. Excited. We got a lot to talk about.
We do. And as everybody can see, we have our topics right here in the screen right there. Inter Miami, are they back? Jordi Alba at left wing. Is that his new spot? The UCL is back, baby. Finally, we have some Champions League football back. And then I have a round at the end there where anything goes, Nico. I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for a little bit, and I want to get your opinion on that. So let's hop into that first topic. And like I said, speaking of football stories, everybody's been asking the same question after Tuesday night's win, right? Is Inter Miami back? And are they finally showing that fight and form that we've been waiting for? Or was it just one night that they played well at home? I don't know about you, but to me, it wasn't champagne football yesterday. There weren't stretches where there were plenty of stretches where they looked disconnected, short on ideas. But the reality is that when the chances came, they finished it. Messi had a goal and an assist. Jordi Alba also with a goal and an assist. And suddenly you're looking at 3 points that feel like gold, right? At the end of the day, that's what you need at this stage in the season is 3 points. It's not about playing pretty football right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And considering the amount of injuries and suspensions that Miami had, I think it's a huge win, not just a regular win. It's a huge win because, like you said, they're coming off a loss. They were coming off the League's Cup final loss against the same team, Seattle. So it's kind of like revenge. Although, we did mention the game wasn't so good. We're going back to the same things, the same struggles that we constantly go to, which are defensively, and somehow, some way, individual talent has come through.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the question remains, are they back? And like you said, the style still leaves questions, but again, the results are the ones that speak loudest, and the points are stacking. They got the 3 points. They still have 4 games in hand, and they still hold the key to their destiny in their own hands, Nico. So,
Yeah,
um, you know,
yeah, they got to recover all those games that they had to delay because of playing in the Leagues Cup and also playing in the Club World Cup. So and the positive news is that they are facing teams that are rather weak when it comes to the next following games. So it will be a positive for them to stack up, wins, stack up points, and possibly climb on the table that they needed because you don't want to be facing a team that comes in red hot in the playoffs like it happened last year. Yes, we won the Supporter Shield, but then we went on and we played Atlanta, and Atlanta was coming red hot of a few good results, and we know what happened. We got eliminated.
absolutely. No, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And again, we're going to be recuperating some players. Again, Toto Aviles will be back not in the lineup, but at least in the match day,
Yeah,
opinion there for
you need
be
fresh legs.
available. Absolutely.
You need
Absolutely.
you need fresh legs. I was listening to the post game yesterday from Jordi Alba, and he mentioned it that they were so happy that a lot of players were able to step up last night. Players that haven't been playing a lot lately, but at the same time, he feels that they're gonna need the players that are out, the players that are missing, with the suspensions and with the injuries, because this is you don't win this type of tournament, you don't win the MLS with just 11 players. You have to have at least 16 to 18 players that are capable to be ready to step up at any given moment.
And funny you should bring that up because yesterday in the post game conference, Macherano was asked a question. If he wanted more players, right? If he was looking to add more players in the summer transfer window, and he was very clear, Nico. He said, and he told the reporter, "Look, I'm here and I'm paid to coach. I'm gonna coach
Mhm.
what the team that I am given." And Inter Miami was
Yeah, but
able to
I
add a
feel
few
like
guys.
I feel like he's getting tired of those same questions. That's why he answered the way he answered it. It's been ever since he's come to the team, they're constantly asking him, "Oh, are you happy with what you have? Is this the team that you wanted? Are these the players that you wanted?" And it gets to a point where you as a coach, you kind of like can't answer otherwise. I've told you guys plenty of times that, I would have liked something else, but it is what it is. I got what I got.
Well, maybe it's
Plain and
time
simple.
for maybe it's time for Inter Miami to allow some new voices, some new faces into the mix, and we'll
Yeah.
get a different type of questions that maybe Mascherano is looking forward to answering. But speaking of questions, speaking of adjustments, let's talk about Jordi Alba, right? Because after that goal and assist, the question is out there: has Mascherano found a new position for Jordi Alba? And to me, I think that Jordi Alba playing a little bit higher up the pitch, it gives him a little bit more freedom, right? It gives him clearly it worked with that goal and the assist. But we got to be real. The reason that he can do those things, the reason that he can push that high is because he has a player like Noah Allen who's playing behind him. And he played a very good game yesterday. We're used to seeing Noah playing at left center back for most of the season. Then he was injured. Now he came back last night last night with a very strong game against Seattle, and that goes to show that although Miami is short-handed, Nico, they still have somewhat of depth on the roster so that they can
Yeah.
make those types of moves and push certain players into other positions. So, I mean, what do you think about Jordi Alba pushing up? Is that more of a Mascherano thing, or do you think it
I
was
think
more of a players thing?
I think it brings two things to the table. The flexibility, number one, because now you have a much more balanced team. You're putting a defender at that natural left back position. Yes, we might have our differences. Yes, a lot of people could say Noah Allen is not ready, or is he ready? Does he play left center back? Does he play left back better? That's not the case here. The case is that the team is a lot more balanced because we know how much Jordi Alba likes to push forward. Therefore, it leaves us in a weak position when we get countered. Now, you don't have that issue. You have a left back that is solidified as a left back, and now you're putting Jordi Alba on the left wing, which, by the way, you're talking about Messi's number one partner throughout his whole career when it came to the 1-2 place as a left back. So pushing him forward not only gives you that flexibility, but it also allows Messi to have a good partner closer to the final third.
100%. And we've seen time and time again this season, Messi have a different partner there on the left wing. We've seen
It
Telasco
happened.
Segovia, we've seen Tadeo Allende, we've seen Baltasar Rodriguez, a number of different players, but nothing compares to what we see when you
Nothing.
have Jordi Alba and Messi together, two guys who have played 20 plus years together, basically their entire careers together, and they can they know each other's movements at all times. They know where they're going to go. And you saw that yesterday in that goal where Jordi Alba centered the ball to Messi,
Yeah.
puts it right in the right spot. And Messi, cheeky play, diving for the ball and putting it right past Stephen Fry.
Yes. And also when Messi gave the assist to Jordi Alba as well, he knew where he was going to find them. And Jordi Alba attacked the space knowing that Messi was going to give him the ball there. Also,
100%.
also, I wanted to mention another thing. People forget, but yes, Jordi Alba has played a long career as a left back, but he did start as a left wing when he was in Valencia. So he's not a rookie when it comes to when it comes to this position. He knows how to play the left wing position. He actually started as a left winger in La Masia, and he was brought back as a left back.
Well, he plays like a left winger anyways, even when he's a left back, because he plays so high up the pitch and he
Yes,
thinks like a left winger because he
yes,
wants to, how we say in Spanish, definir, right? He wants to finish and he always is looking for either that center or for the goal. And yesterday he got both, the goal first and then the center. But
yep.
I want to go ahead and now I want to take a step back from the MLS, zoom out a little bit for a second, and I want to talk about UEFA Champions League because the anthem, the midweek magic, the absolute chaos of Europe's best going head to head it's the stage where legends are made and dreams get crushed. And this year's edition already got off to a very, very good start.
Yes.
Nico, I know you are a Liverpool guy, but I want you to give me your honest opinion. Who's been so far the team that you feel like could be the favorite this season?
Um, I don't think it's gonna be that way this year. I think there's gonna be a lot of teams. This new format, what it gives you that cushion, it gives you that zone. By having 8 games, you're able to, have a few slips here and there. You're able to maybe tie or lose a game here and there, and then come back and be able to make a push later on in the group stage and throughout, the knockout rounds. Uh, but I think, besides PSG, obviously being the champion right now, and they started red hot, beating an excellent team like Atalanta. I think the team that would surprise me the most will be Bayern Munich. I saw Bayern Munich really, really well today. I think that Bayern Munich had an excellent game against Chelsea. They dominated them. They were very balanced. Defensively, they got better. They're a team more going forward. They possess the ball well, and they added a player that unfortunately we lost in Liverpool, but he's fantastic, man. Luis Diaz brings them something else that they didn't have. Brings them that versatility, that one-on-one ability to take on players as a winger, and they have a killer in the area with Harry Kane.
Absolutely. And one thing that I noticed so far is a lot of high scoring games, right? You had 4-0 the PSG game, the Bayern Chelsea game 3-1.
Four
Today
four four
Liverpool
four
Athletic.
Foreman.
Exactly. But I want to point out one high scoring game. Or for me, high scoring, right? Because I think 5 goals in a soccer game is high scoring. And I want to point out the 3-2 win by Karabag from Kazakhstan. It's their first,
Surprising.
right, beating
Away from home.
Benfica. I know in Portugal. How
Yeah.
crazy is that? I mean, it must have been an absolute party in Kazakhstan that night.
Yeah, yeah, and not only that, it was so bad for Benfica that they ended up firing their coach, and now they're bringing Jose Mourinho to coach them. That's like it blows my mind that a team like Benfica are willing to bring Jose Mourinho to coach them, a guy that made a career out of the Porto team that he had in 2004. These are two rivals. Two rivals. It's like saying your coach now in Nacional, in 2 years or maybe 5 years from now, goes and coaches Peñarol. That's unheard of.
Yeah, no, it would absolutely never happen in Uruguay. But in Europe, it's a little bit different. The money talks, and you know that Jose
I
is a
wouldn't be
guy
happy
who
as a
likes
fan.
who likes
Honestly, I
money.
wouldn't be happy. If I'm a Benfica fan, I'm not happy about the decision by the club.
No, me neither. Because but we're more traditionalists when it comes to football, and there might be some
No,
people
man.
who
I
might
feel like
not.
Portuguese people are very passionate about their club. It's like if Jurgen Klopp were to go and coach Man United. I don't think that will be. I don't think that will be.
I think Man
Different.
United fans would be happy. I just don't
But,
think Liverpool fans would be happy.
but there you go. It goes two ways. You can have happy fans on one end, and you can have you know fans that are not so happy on the other. But in that case, I'm not so sure.
In this case, he's going to upset two fan bases because he's going to upset Porto for going to their rival club. And then he's going to
Yeah,
upset the Benfica fans because he hunted them for so many years that they
so
probably
many
don't want
years.
him there. So, yeah, he's going to upset a lot of folks with that. But I want to now go into Nico to ask you a question about your team, about Liverpool, because as you mentioned, they beat Atletico de Madrid today. They blew a 2-0 lead and then scored a 92-minute screamer to win the game. That's 5 games this season, 5 wins for Liverpool, but all 5 have been won in the 85th minute or later. As a Liverpool fan, is that worrying for you?
Um, the the radar is probably right now at a 6. I'm not so worried yet And here's the reason why. I think that there's a lot of new faces, a lot of new players that are adapting to the system. I know not only the players that are adapted to the system, the new ones, but you also got to remind yourself of the players that were there in previous seasons as well. You know, for Salah, I saw that he mentioned in an interview recently that he was so used to playing with Darwin and with Lucho a certain way that they pretty much knew each other automatically, right? So it's going to take time for him to understand certain movements from certain players uh, as well. So in that sense, I'm not so worried. What I am worried about is the fact that the team's constantly conceding. Yes, they didn't concede against Arsenal or Burnley, but to concede against this Atletico Madrid side that was depleted with injuries, they were missing 6 players, one of them being their best player in Julian Alvarez. To me, shows lack of control for the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last topic I want to bring up, and not to take a shot at my friends who are Real Madrid fans, I do have the Real Madrid scarf on, but what do you feel about the anointing of the next? We had Penaldo with Ronaldo there. Now we have Mbappé penalty, as you explained to me off air. Mbappé penalty.
Yes.
Scoring 2 goals from the spot in Champions League. And I think he's scored 7 goals this season, and of most of those have been from the spot.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I saw a stat the other day that he had like 20 something goals from the spot since he's been a Real Madrid player, which is insane.
Which
But yeah,
part? The
man,
fact
look,
that they've gotten that many penalties, or the fact that he's the one that's taking all of them?
both. I would say both. But listen, man, look, last weekend, Madrid was robbed. We can say that they were robbed in La Liga with the red card that wasn't a red card. They went to the bar. They didn't get the call. Yes, that was a scandalous call. Controversy all over the place. This week, they were given a penalty. We can agree, I would think, that that was not a penalty. We still don't know what the refs want to call when it comes to handballs inside the area. Do we call every single handball a penalty or do we not? Do we allow the referee to view it? Do we allow VAR to make the calls? Nobody knows. So, sometimes you get taken away. Just, be happy. This is football. This is what happens. Now, can we say that Madrid gets more of those than any other team? Unfortunately, I believe yes, but it is what it is.
They get more in a month than Inter Miami's gotten in their entire franchise's history.
Yeah, yeah.
So that goes to show you there.
But we'll see. Let's see how far they can go with that.
All right, let's get into the best part of the evening, the new segment where anything goes, and that's why it's titled Anything Goes. And I want to get something off my chest, something that, you and I have talked about off camera, something that, just doesn't sit right with me and this Inter Miami team, right? We have a lot of different personalities on the team, and it's just something doesn't sit right. And I feel like they have so much talent that if they all maybe got along, or they all, were to get together on the pitch and play together, that they could be so much better than what they've been showing over the last, I want to say, 2-3 months. And we did see a glimpse of that in the Club World Cup. Like maybe the team came together during that special time and there was something special going on. But since then, it's been some of the same old, boring, slow tactics. And it almost seems like the players are disinterested to play with each other. Do you think that there could be possibly a fracture in the locker room? And again, this is pure speculation on my part.
Yes.
This is, I as a player who has played, semi-pro and in college and has been in a lot of locker rooms in my career, I have a lot of experience. And again, that's why I'm just kind of poking and trying to see, play devil's advocate to see what's going on. So I kind of want to get your take on that as well.
it's something that has caught my attention recently, and I'm glad you brought it up. I do feel that there's a bit of a disconnect. Uh, I don't want to say that there might. It's like we said, we're pretty much speculating on this. Uh, but I don't. I wouldn't want to say that there's locker room issues or any of that sort. However, I do see that there is, like we said, some sort of disconnect when it comes to the field decisions. Sometimes I see players complaining on the pitch towards their own teammates, and that can cause some sort of friction within the locker room. I wouldn't want that to for Inter Miami, especially going into the playoffs, because it can hurt the team. We know what happened last year. There was, I believe, there was a big disconnect from players towards the manager, which in Inter Miami's case ended up having the manager leave, quote unquote, leave on personal terms from the team. Um, and we wouldn't want to see that happen at the end of the season this year. So hopefully it's just a small rumor, speculations, but yeah, it will be unfortunate if that were to happen.
All right, Nico. It's been an absolute blast with you today. That's going to wrap it up for today's episode of This is Futbol. If you rocked it with us, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We've got plenty more hot takes, football talk, and vibes coming your way. So until the next time, don't forget, this is Futbol.